Hi everybody! So today we thought that we would answer a bunch of your travel questions, and then we have some exciting news to share at the end of this video. Oh,
cameo from Poppy.
Poppy had to say hi. So we asked on Insta stories for all of your travel questions. I'm hoping we can answer them all so that this video isn't like mega long. But we also have to talk fast because I have a workout class to get to.
And I have a sore throat, so I don't want to talk a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
Liqueur, cheers first.
Cheers. Okay. So first question, what website do you use for most places to stay, things to do, places to eat? For me, it's a combo of Instagram and Pinterest. And I usually plan most of our trips. So that's kind of my go-tos. I have basic knowledge of my own from a bunch of places because we've traveled to a lot, but then I like to do a mix of Instagram, Pinterest. Next one, do you use credit card miles? So for like flights and stuff, we do. We do have a credit card that racks up like miles that we can use. We also have like accounts with pretty much every airline or like partner airline, so we've racked up a lot of miles because, let me just answer this question because someone asked this thing, do we tend to use the same airlines or go with the cheapest rate? A mixture, I would say. Like we said, we have an account with pretty much every airline.
Like a rewards account.
Yeah.
Mileage.
So we have a lot of miles for a lot of places, and we book flights using our miles a lot of the times.
It would probably be smarter to be loyal to one airline because then we would all of our points would be on one. But we tend to go, I don't think you quite answered it, with the cheapest rate. Yeah. So that changes airline to airline depending on location and depending on like when you're traveling.
Yeah. And we've flown a lot of airlines, so we know which ones we like, and if it's maybe like a long haul flight, we might choose to pay a little more money for a better experience. Yeah. We know with that as well. Okay, next question. Sorry, I will probably be talking a lot because her throat hurts.
Yeah. Plus you do the majority of the travel planning.
So the next question is, do we typically rent cars when we go to places, or do we plan with public transportation?
I'll answer that one. Okay. Domestically, so traveling within the United States, we'll almost always rent a car. I am the driver, and
unless there is a public transportation.
Where have we gone in the United States?
Well, we didn't rent a car in Chicago.
Right. But we were there very quickly, and we didn't take public transportation.
Right.
So that's not really a good example. I would say if you're coming to New York, definitely don't rent a car. No. But anywhere else in the United States, you could or you could not. It's really up to you. I would say Chicago is probably the other place in the United States where you can get around pretty easily if you're concentrated more downtown without. Anywhere else in the United States, it could be done, but it's probably going to be easier if you have a car.
And cheaper too, because see, I'll use like LA as an example. We've always rented a car in LA. It would be so much more expensive to take like an Uber every time you went somewhere than just renting a car.
Yeah. Internationally, we have never rented a car. We always use public transportation because most of our pretty much travel has been in Europe, where public transportation is just incredibly prevalent and very easy and very commonly used. It is very different than the United States, where public transportation, with the exception of like New York and Chicago and DC, public transportation isn't really used in the vast majority of the United States.
We didn't rent a car in DC either.
Yeah, that's correct. We didn't.
Yeah. We took public transportation in DC. We took an Uber or like a cab, I don't even think it was Uber, like a cab from the airport to our hotel, and then we took public transportation if we didn't walk.
Yeah. But depending on where you're going in DC, it's really spread out. So a car could come in handy.
But we're also used to walking a lot, so like we don't mind if it's like a mile to 2 mile walk, like we'll do it. Like it's not that big of a deal.
I would say the only place that I would recommend you definitely don't consider renting a car is New York, and then in most major European cities it's really not necessary if you're staying in the city. If you are trying to travel out of the city and see other parts of the country, then a car could come in handy.
Okay, next question is, what do we do with our luggage if checkout is at 11 but you don't fly out till later? So almost every hotel will hold your luggage, and the US it's usually for free. In Europe, a lot of times they'll charge you, like if you're in pound or euro, they'll charge you maybe like a pound or like €2 or something like that. Some places are free, some are not, but in the US I've never been charged for them to hold my luggage. I don't think
so.
But they always will. And so this is a prime example of kind of choosing between an Airbnb and a hotel. If there's a trip where we know we're not flying out until the end of the night, but we have to check out in the morning, I will always book a hotel instead of an Airbnb in that case because of luggage. That's just, I think that far ahead.
Store your luggage.
Maybe some might.
We did ask once.
Did we?
Yeah, in Paris, then we ended up the last night in that hotel.
Oh, that's right, that's right.
But it's likely not going to be an option.
Right.
The other thing, just to add on to that, is in Europe, what we've also done is stored our luggage at the train station.
In lockers.
In lockers.
Yeah.
So that's another option.
I know that sounds like kind of weird, but
it's very common there.
It's very common. So the next question asked, how do we budget for our trips? She said no specifics about money, but she'd love to see the process if you have one. So we've kind of touched on this in the past, but 6 months to a year in advance, we start making our list of what we want to do in that next 6 months to a year. And because we've traveled so much, I kind of know like how much each thing is gonna cost approximately. So then we kind of go from there and we narrow down, okay, what realistically are we gonna be able to do? And then we kind of pick the top ones that like, no matter what, this is what we're gonna do. So then we look into the costs of that a little more, and find out exactly what that is, and then we just make that a priority. We know how much all of our monthly expenses are, so we set that aside, and then you just have to start saving up little by little. And you know, if it's buy new clothes or save up for the trip, most of the times it's go on a trip.
Recent old lady haul excluded.
Yes. So it's just making that a priority. You know, you don't want to restrict yourself so much that you don't do anything with your life, that you just sit at home 7 days a week because you want to save all your money for travel. Is that worth it to you? Maybe it is, I don't know. But it's all just personal budgeting and making that a priority. Next question said, any tips on currency exchange? So, in most countries, we don't carry cash. With the exception of England, I always have a little bit because they really love you to pay in your coins and your cash. Even though they take credit cards everywhere, but a lot of things are like £1 or £2, and that's much easier to just hand over a coin and go through the whole credit card, debit card situation. They have to like check your ID over there. It's like a whole like long thing. So most of the times it's easiest to just have some coins. Sometimes with the euros, I do, maybe more so in Paris, but in the other European countries, I don't think we really have it. Like in Iceland, I don't even know what that money looks like.
No,
we didn't even see it.
Take any out. Everything, literally everything, from like the hot dog cart on the street took credit cards.
In Belgium, we didn't do anything. Yeah, really just the UK and Paris, oddly enough.
But those really aren't necessary.
But it's not necessary.
Just, like,
yeah. So my tips about it, I'm not condoning having credit cards, but it's much easier traveling if you get a credit card that doesn't charge an exchange rate.
Yes.
I need to look and see exactly what banks, but I know Capital One doesn't charge fees for currency.
So some credit cards, if you're not aware of what she's talking about, every time you make a purchase, they're going to charge a fee on that because they're going to do like an exchange with the currency. So every time that you swipe that credit card in another country, you're getting a fee on top of whatever the purchase is, and depending on what the exchange rate is, like that can be double what the value of the item is. The other thing that we don't, or that we do, is we don't ever like change over the money here prior to leaving, or like at any of those kiosks at like the airport. No. Just go to an ATM. Go to an ATM.
There's an ATM in Heathrow Airport that I always use that I've never had an issue with.
We always do it at the airport, or we'll go into an international bank.
Inside the bank.
Inside the bank.
Not outside. Do not go to a bank that's outside, because one of the summer that I lived there, a group of people that I was with, most of them got their money stolen because they used an ATM outside. They all use the same ATM.
Most international banks, like the big chains, will take American like debit cards for you to pull some cash out. I would advise, because you'll almost always have a exchange rate fee and like a fee for doing that, like just an ATM fee.
It's usually just like $2 or something.
If it's not an American bank, it's not that expensive. But
most of your banks have a partner bank.
Yeah, but because of that, like be a little smart about it. Don't just like take out 20 euro and like just keep doing it.
Like take out a lot.
Take out what you think you might need for the whole trip, so that you're not constantly being charged those fees.
Someone asked, or not, well, she said, I'm visiting New York in July and would love your input on where to go, what to avoid, and the how-tos. So I'm not going to go into that here because we have so many blog posts on it. So I'll link to our New York section down below, and I think we've also done a couple videos on it, so I'll link those down below as well. I'm pretty sure I'm wearing the shirt in one of them. It's fine. So any New York questions, I'll send you there because it's all in our blog. Next question, do we like to have a very specific agenda to stick to, or do you prefer to wing it? We will both answer this question very differently.
Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Agenda.
Wing it.
I like to know exactly what we're gonna do, where we're going, what we're doing. That's just me. I like to plan everything out.
She gets very mad if I change something or suggest a different.
I really do. Well, why it really annoys me is because I've spent months and months planning for this trip, and she hasn't looked at anything. And she'll look at something like on the plane on the way there, or when we land there, and she's like, let's add this in, let's do this. And I'm like, no, I sent you the itinerary 2 weeks ago. That's when you
She sent me the London itinerary like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I have not looked at it. Sorry. It's on my to-do list.
You need to look at that, please. Kristen's already looked at it. We've already made amendments. It's fine.
Okay.
But you don't get to add anything.
So then what's the point of
you waive your right to add anything if you wait until the trip.
But the trip isn't here yet.
I like to know what we're doing. Last question, and then we'll get into our news. She asked, how do we deal with long flights? I think, have we done blog posts on this?
I just did recently. Well, specifically red-eye flights, what I did my blog post on, but red-eye flights are generally long flights, so you can apply those same tips.
So I'll link that down below, but basically the gist, especially if we're flying to Europe, we like to fly overnight, so we get some sleep.
Flight, yeah.
We try.
It saves you time.
Yeah. I try and get comfortable when sleeping, but we like to try and do the same kind of like bedtime routine. So you get a meal on these flights. So they do that pretty quickly after you take off. So we eat our meal. A lot of times we like to have wine for like a little extra knock us out. So then we go to the bathroom, you know, like brush your teeth, take your makeup off. Usually I don't even wear makeup. She likes to like wear it and then take it off. It's just the whole routine. But you know, like we brush our teeth, do everything. I put on like my sleep oils. I have like a sleep playlist specifically for planes that I have. And we put on like an eye mask to cover our eyes in case there's like little lights. I like to bring like a big sweatshirt, a big like scarf, something that we can just like cuddle up. We always have like neck pillows. You know, it will not be the best night's sleep of your life. We're not saying that at all, but you want to try and get some rest, and then especially when you land, you want to try and stay up at least until 8 or 9 p.m. that following night. Do not take a nap, because that will completely mess up your sleep schedule, your jet lag, everything, and you'll be messed up for the whole trip. So you have to really, really push through. Take that day really slow. Don't try and like overexert yourself, because then by 2 p.m. you'll be dead tired. Because like when we fly to London, like we're gonna land at 6 in the morning in London, but by the time we get through customs and border patrol and everything and get to the hotel, it'll be like 10 or 11. So you know, we have about 8 hours that we have to try and stay awake.
And like really try to adjust to the time zone of your destination as soon as you get on the plane. So like, for example, coming back from Europe specifically, we kind of land about the same time that you take off with the time change. So on that flight, we're not gonna sleep. We're not gonna let ourselves sleep. So that when we land, it's nighttime and we can adjust and just immediately go to sleep once we get home. So on that flight, it's all about entertainment and things to keep you awake. Long haul flights almost always have like the whole like back and seat individual entertainment centers to keep you occupied these days. We always travel with our tablets, and with Netflix you can actually download stuff for free if you have a Netflix account, if you didn't know that. So we always have that as a backup, and you know, books, magazines, whatever you can use to keep yourself entertained during a long flight.
All right, so that is all of the questions. Now for our exciting news. Some of you might have seen it because it's actually been on the blog for a few weeks, but we are now offering travel planning / consulting services with us. So it will be at an hourly rate, and it's basically up to you what you want out of it. If you just want an hour-long phone call just to bounce ideas off, if you have questions about a certain travel, if you just want like a list of ideas of things to do and you can figure out the rest, or if you want us to fully plan your trip, we can fully plan it and then you can go in and book it, or we can fully plan and book it for you. It's basically completely up to you what you want to use this for. You can pick our brains to get our knowledge to help you plan the best trips that you want to go on.
Yay!
Which is super exciting. So yeah, it's whatever you feel like you need help with, shoot us an email. It's all linked on the blog. I'll link it down below. And we can work out, you know, what you kind of need and what you want out of your trip. It's very exciting. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I love helping people with travel stuff. It just like, it comes so easily, and I just like love telling everybody everything. One of our cousins is going to Europe for the first time. Actually at the same time, we're gonna be in London. He's also gonna be in the UK. And I was talking to him and giving him a bunch of ideas and tips, and you know, it's things that people who have never been, you know, out of the country before, you don't even realize to think about, or that you even need to know the answer to something, but we can throw things out there that like
you wouldn't even think to ask.
Yeah. Right, exactly. So yeah, it's very exciting. So everything will be linked down below, and we hope to hear from you guys soon.
Yeah, let us plan your trip.
Yay. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe right there, and you can watch our latest video right there. See you guys next time. Bye.